In a world that constantly judges, compares and evaluates, it's easy to fall into the trap of caring too much about what others think of us. Whether it's about our appearance, our decisions, or the way we live our lives, we are often driven by a desire for approval and acceptance. However, Buddhism offers a different perspective, one that encourages letting go of this attachment to external validation. According to Buddhist teachings, caring excessively about what others think can hinder our growth, cause unnecessary suffering, and prevent us from fully embracing our true selves. The path to freedom lies in understanding why we need to stop caring about others' opinions and how we can cultivate a sense of inner peace and self-acceptance. First, it's essential to understand that our need for approval is deeply rooted in the concept of ego. In Buddhism, the ego is seen as a false sense of self, an identity that we cling to in order to feel secure and validated. This ego often thrives on the opinions of others, constantly seeking affirmation and fearfully avoiding criticism. The more we feed into this desire for external validation, the more we strengthen our attachment to the ego, which ultimately leads to suffering. When we rely on others' approval, we are placing our happiness in their hands. This makes us vulnerable to their judgments, criticisms, and expectations, and it can create a sense of insecurity that fluctuates based on external factors. For example, one moment we might feel elated because someone praised us, and the next moment we might feel down because someone criticized us. In this cycle, we are continuously at the mercy of others' opinions, unable to find lasting peace or fulfillment. Buddhism teaches that true happiness comes from within, and it is only when we let go of the need for approval that we can experience freedom from this cycle of external dependency. Buddhist philosophy emphasizes the impermanence of all things, and this extends to people's opinions of us. Just as everything in life is constantly changing, so too are people's thoughts and judgments. One day someone may think highly of you, and the next they might not. The idea that we can control or hold on to others' opinions is an illusion. In fact, the more we try to mold ourselves to fit others' expectations, the more we lose touch with our authentic selves. This awareness of impermanence helps us realize that others' opinions are fleeting and, in many cases, not as important as we might think. People's judgments often say more about them than they do about us. When we learn to accept this reality, we begin to free ourselves from the shackles of others' perceptions. Rather than being preoccupied with how we are viewed, we can focus on living in a way that is true to ourselves and our values. Another key concept in Buddhism that addresses the need to stop caring about others' opinions is the understanding of non-attachment. Attachment, in Buddhist teachings, refers to our clinging to things, ideas, or people, which causes us to suffer when they change or are taken away. When we attach ourselves to the approval of others, we are essentially clinging to something external that we cannot control. This attachment creates dependency, and with dependency comes vulnerability. Non-attachment is the practice of letting go, accepting things as they are without trying to control or hold on to them. When we stop caring about what others think, we let go of the need for their validation and allow ourselves to live more freely. This doesn't mean we should disregard other people entirely or stop caring about their feelings. Instead, it means we stop placing our sense of worth in their hands and instead look inward for validation and guidance. In Buddhism, the path to inner peace is paved with self-awareness and self-compassion. If we constantly seek approval from others, we are neglecting the most important relationship of all, the one with ourselves. Self-compassion involves treating ourselves with the same kindness, understanding and patience that we would offer to a friend in need. It means accepting ourselves, flaws and all, without needing external validation. By practicing self-compassion, we begin to see ourselves as worthy, not because of what others think, but because we are inherently deserving of love and respect. Buddhism teaches that all beings are interconnected, and just as we would not judge or criticize others harshly, we should extend the same understanding to ourselves. When we stop caring about others' opinions, we create space for self-love to flourish. Additionally, the Buddha's teachings on mindfulness can help us break free from the constant desire for approval. Mindfulness is the practice of being present and aware in the moment, without judgment or distraction. When we become mindful of our thoughts, we begin to notice the habitual patterns that drive our desire for external validation. We can observe when we start seeking approval from others, and gently redirect our focus back to the present moment. Through mindfulness, we can also become more aware of how much energy we spend worrying about what others think. By cultivating this awareness, we can learn to let go of those concerns and redirect our energy toward more meaningful pursuits, such as personal growth, compassion, and connection with others. A powerful aspect of Buddhism that encourages letting go of the need for approval is the practice of loving kindness, or metta. Loving kindness involves extending goodwill and love, not only to others, but also to ourselves. When we practice loving kindness, we are reminded that we are worthy of love, regardless of what others may think. This practice helps to reduce the fear of judgment and encourages us to embrace ourselves with compassion and care. Another practice that can help us stop caring about others' opinions is the cultivation of equanimity. Equanimity is the ability to remain calm and balanced, regardless of external circumstances. In Buddhism, equanimity is considered one of the highest virtues, and it is rooted in the understanding that all things, including people's opinions, are impermanent. When we develop equanimity, we can maintain our inner peace even when faced with criticism or praise. We learn to accept both the positive and negative aspects of life with equanimity, understanding that they are both temporary and ultimately do not define us. Buddhism teaches that true freedom comes from within. When we let go of the need to control or seek validation from others, we open ourselves up to a life of authenticity, peace, and joy. By practicing mindfulness, non-attachment, self-compassion, loving kindness, and equanimity, we can stop caring about what others think and begin living in a way that is true to ourselves. We are no longer prisoners of others' judgments, but free to live our lives with confidence, purpose, and inner peace. In the end, it is not what others think of us that matters. It is what we think of ourselves that truly defines our happiness and well-being.